This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Paulie Howard, Mike Paul, Mitch out. Back tomorrow, hopefully. Our guy, Tony Rizzo, ESPN Cleveland, home of the Buckeyes, joins us now on the progressive guest line to talk everything Buckeyes and everything Cleveland as the Big Ten runs college football. Back-to-back Jack and 3 of the top 5 teams in the last AP poll. How you doing, sir? Good to talk to you.
Guys, freezing over here, not going to lie. I got to get to the Palms, please. Maestro, pleasure.
Tony, nice to talk to you.
6 below, yeah.
Paulie, let me just say this. The fact that, so everybody wants to know what happened. Let me tell you exactly what we know, okay? When the Buckeyes lost to Michigan, they got all caught up in this, let's be more physical and run the ball thing. And I don't know whether it was Chip Kelly or Ryan or whoever. Ryan Day told his football team after that game, and he revealed it over the weekend. He apologized. He said, that's on me. I didn't put you guys in a good position. He goes, let's go win the thing right now. So honestly, I know there are still Buckeye fans here that are PO'd about the Michigan loss, which I can't believe. You want a natty, who cares? But some of them do. He said, I messed up, let's win the whole thing. And that loss turned everything around for them. So as much as Buckeye fan hates that loss to Michigan, 4 in a row, 3 in a row, I don't even know what it is. I don't know. We beat them 8 in a row. Urban never lost to them. Whatever. It's all cyclical. Mm-hmm. That loss turned around everything. This team got committed. They opened it up. They felt like they had nothing to lose. They played angry. Guys, you know these teams, when you're playing angry like that, like you got something to prove, it's exactly what they needed.
Well said. Was he going to get fired if they lost to Tennessee?
Yes, Paul.
Oh.
Yes. So how about this? Without the 12-team playoff, Ryan Day, he would have got a job. Believe me, he would have got a job. Might even went to the NFL. But, yeah, if there wasn't a 12-team playoff and there wasn't a chance for redemption, I believe he would have been relieved of his duties. That's how bad it got after that loss.
Well, they had so much talent, and they're the only team to beat top five teams. What took so long, right?
Yeah. How about this, Paulie? They covered 4 games.
Yes, they did.
They covered every game. Covered. I mean, I know last night was, oh, by the way, what a bad beat. I know you do the bad beats every day. My God. The field goal at the end, that was a bad beat. But they covered. They were dominant. You know what it is, guys? They can score whenever they want. So last night, even when Notre Dame started coming back, I wasn't concerned because I knew they would have they went to Smith late in the game. He put the game away with that big, by the way, the single coverage there. How about the decision to kick the field goal, 16 to 13 points? Oh, my God.
I know.
Can't believe it. You're in a national championship game. It's 9 yards. He goes, well, it was 9 yards. Don't you have a play? Call a play for 10 yards. Go for it. My God.
Yeah, it's tough to think you're going to stop Ohio State twice, Tony, in the last 9 minutes.
Right.
If you're down.
Right. Do the math. It's all about possessions. Michael Lombardi. It's all about possessions. How many possessions do you have left? Yes.
Talk about this team next year, Tony. How do they restock, reload, and should they be number one?
Well, they're going to be number 2, I think. I think Texas might be number 1 because of Arch Manning. But they are loaded. Caleb Downs is back. He's one of he been top 5 draft pick this year, and Jeremiah Smith would be a top 5 draft pick. They're both back. Jeremiah Smith has 2 more years, guys, at Ohio State. He's a freshman, a true freshman. They're going to be loaded. The question is at quarterback. They have a kid named Julian Sand who they love. Came from Alabama, committed to Alabama when Nick left. He went to the Buckeyes, sat the bench this year. Minimal playing time. There's a St. Xavier kid. There's another freshman kid that's really good. But I'm interested to see if they go to the portal. If they try and pluck another Will Howard. I mean, I don't know. You know, Beck went to Miami.
Yeah.
You know, they'll probably kick the tires on that. But I've got a feeling they're going to let the Sand kid try and win it in spring.
Okay. Interesting. Do you think they got the MVP right with Howard?
Yeah. I can't believe how the kid played. Guys, there was big controversy here on our show. You know, before the Michigan game, I said, Will Howard is not a real Buckeye, and, you know, he's a rented guy, and it made giant news in Columbus. And I said 5 times, I hope he plays well. I'm a Buckeye fan. They never, you know, played any of that. Then the kid went out and, you know, pooped the bed at the Michigan game.
Yeah.
So it was like, I can't believe how great that kid's story is, that he turned it around. He played better than any quarterback in the playoff.
Yep.
And Quinn Ewers, The kid in Oregon, you name it. He played as well as any of them. I give him all the credit in the world. I do.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. They're mercenaries. That's nothing wrong with what you said, and certainly.
And you know what,
yeah.
Paulie, I was all for giving these kids money.
Yeah,
I
sure.
always was.
Sure.
When I went to college, okay, Art Schleister's jersey was in the bookstore, and people were buying it. Art Schleister didn't get $1. You know what I mean?
It was ridiculous.
The poor guy was gambling, for God's sake.
I know. What's the pecking order there? Browns, Buckeyes.
Oh, it's all Browns. Paulie, by the way, not a lot of faith in Andrew Berry to get this right. I don't know what the Browns are going to do. They need a quarterback. There's two good ones. Are they going to? No, we're thinking probably trade down, take a lineman, and then maybe a QB at 33. I don't know. It all depends. But this is a giant year for Andrew Berry, their GM. You look at his past 5 drafts, you get a chance. Not really impressive. Mm-hmm. And they kept him around, and this is going to be a monumental offseason. I know it is for everybody every year, but for the Browns this year, it's a really big one. We're all excited about the Cavs, though, here, too.
Tony, do you think the Browns consider dealing Myles Garrett?
No, I don't. And I've talked to people on the record and off the record, and I don't think they're interested in doing that. He's invested here in the community. He bought part of the Cavs. He's a great kid. He's come a long way. You know, he was young when he got here, and over the 5-6 years he's been here, 7 years, he's really established himself as one of the leaders of the team. And I don't know what you could get, guys. Like, everybody assumes you can get 2 number ones. Tell me who's going to give you that. I don't know.
Has Watson played his final game? What happened? He's in Miami and tore. How do you tear your Achilles again?
Oh, Paulie, that's very convenient for the Browns. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Very convenient for the Browns because the guy you got to remember, he got booed, he got injured. The fans have had enough. It's been 3 years. He hasn't produced. It's the worst contract in sports. We got to hear about it every day, all day long. Everybody needs to move on. And then Deshaun needs to move on. Yeah, you know, he needs a new change of scenery. Way too much pressure here. And everybody said his problem was above the neck. Everybody. The guy was physically healthy. He just couldn't process anymore. Too much going on in his head.
Well, who's the quarterback then?
Oh, God. They're talking about Kirk Cousins. Aaron Rodgers might be at play. Browns are going to get a bridge quarterback, and then they're going to draft a quarterback. They have to draft one, but do they go with Shedeur at 2? Does the father want to play here? We don't think so. Yeah. Would they go Cam Ward? He might not be available. Well, then you're looking at Jackson Dart, Jalen Milroe. We have 33. Don't forget. The Browns have number 2 in round 1, but they have number 1 in round 2. So there's a possibility they could take quarterback there. If they wait later than that, they're playing with fire. But we're hearing bridge quarterback. Everybody's in play that's available on the market. Cousins was with Stefanski in Minnesota.
Oh, God. What a debacle. Condolences. Cavs are good, though. You got a championship because of the Cavs. So what do you think and concerns that the Cavs have? I guess if they play big guards, that gives them issues. They saw the loss to Indiana and the losses to Atlanta. But what do you think of this hot Cavs team that took out Phoenix no problem yesterday?
They're not without flaws, okay? And, you know, people over here thought they were going to go 70 wins, okay? Their perimeter defense is something they'll look at, but I don't see them really making a move. I think they'll go with what they have. The Atkinson hire it looks like, just a home run. This guy he's really done a good job. Even he's surprised at how good they are. Can they win a title? Pizza money at best, guys. I don't know what they are. I think the Knicks might be a shorter number than they are right now, but the Cavs are good, and they should be in play for the Eastern Conference Finals. Absolutely.
Third choice. You're slightly ahead of the Knicks. You're 9-1 in that range.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What are they? 10-1?
Knicks are 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Celtics are going through the motions. They're not interested. You're going to get
look like a team. Are they hell bent to win 2 in a row, guys? I don't know. Where's the Kobe? Where's the LeBron on that team that's, driving them to we'll see. They play with their food. They do.
Well, and they're struggling from 3, and they take 50 of them a game. So when that doesn't happen, they lose. Great to talk to you, my friend. Get out of the cold weather.
Thanks for getting back on Sirius. I'm a Sirius guy. Love you guys on 158.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. There he is, Tony Rizzo, Progressive Guest Line, ESPN Cleveland, home of the Buckeyes. Wow, absolutely, he was gone. They lost to Tennessee. He was gone. He's right, too, by not getting the playoff. That saved them. Incredible. He also said off air that they have a clock in the facility, and it counts down till the Michigan game. And several ex-players have said, get rid of it. It's enough already.
Too obsessed with Michigan.
Yep, right, because he can't handle it. The game's too big for him. He puts too much on that game, and he loses his mind. 1-4 now against them. So I think that'd be a good move. Just take the clock down, and it's enough already. Win-lose coming up next. We recap the props that cashed. You will not believe what happened in the NBA. The whole card yesterday. That's next. Sirius XM Channel 158. Get the VSiN Watch app, VSiN.com. Follow the money. Paulie Howard, Mike Palm, live from Circa.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Great card in hockey coming up with some unbelievable trends I've never seen, and streaks. I've never seen a goal in the first 10 priced this high, and there's a good reason why. We'll get to that coming up, and you cannot be serious as well. Look ahead lines, Super Bowl, and Week 1 college football next year, and a prop I love. One prop that's too low, and another bet that I love. We'll get to an explanation listening to a podcast earlier today that we can kick around. We're joined now by Indy Jeff Seeley, our weekly appearance to talk golf on the Progressive Guest Line. Cutmaker Jeff on X, Cutmaker Podcast, and it's back starting in a few weeks with the Waste Management Open. We're going to the Farmers Insurance Open now with Torrey Pines. He joins us now, and tell us about the course, my friend.
Yeah, guys, we're back at Torrey Pines here. We're playing the North Course and the South Course on the first 2 days. North Course is significantly easier, so they'll have a shot at an easy course and a tougher track first 2 rounds, and then there'll be the cut, and then the second 2 rounds will be at the South Course. But one important note here, they start this tomorrow, so the first 2 rounds are Wednesday and Thursday, last 2 rounds Friday and Saturday, because obviously they're not interested in competing with the NFL. So pretty smart move on their part, but we get golf a little earlier this week.
Yep. All right. So take us through the top of the board. What you think of with the favorites, and if you're going to play someone in that 10 to 20 to 1 range.
Yeah, Paul. So Ludwig Hebert is the top of the board. He and Hideki. Looking at Hebert in his last 36 events, in 11 of them, he's gained more than 5 strokes tee to green and also gained with the putter. So elite all-round game in a third of his events he's played so far as a pro. 5 inside the top 15 when he does that. 5 more inside the top 5 in a win. He did it here last year. I think he's the most talented player on tour under the age of 25. If you build a really simple model, just focusing on driving distance, long irons, and putting, the 3 things that matter the most at this course, he grades out second overall. So it's easy to make a case for Hebert this week. I think playing him top 10 at plus 110 is my favorite way to play him, but I can certainly understand if you play a little on the outright. And then in the 20 to 1 range, I played Zalatoris. Guys, I played him last week. He looked good last week. I bet him 20 to 1 at the opener. It's down to 22 at a lot of places. And I'm going to continue to bet him top 20 and a little bit on the outright on Zalatoris, especially places where he's had success like he has here. He's finished 12th, 2nd, and 7th in 3 of his last 4 Farmers. That really kind of puts him in the course horse conversation. Throw that in with back-to-back solid performances already this year. I like Zalatoris a lot, top 20, and a little bit on the outright. And then, guys, I mentioned Max Greiserman last week. He's 32 to 1 this week. And really, Paul, feels like a boom-bust play. I mean, the opportunity is really clear. He's finished inside the top 5 in 4 of his last 8 events, so he's got great form. 1 more inside the top 10. When you run the really simple model I mentioned, he actually comes out on the top of the board ahead of Hebert in that sense, but his price has drifted this week, and a lot of people are fading him. The only reason I can think that would be is because he struggled badly off the tee and with the putter last time he played here and missed the cut. He's not a great putter on Poa greens. He's an East Coast guy, grew up in New Jersey, went to Duke, lives in Florida. So sometimes that coastal variance is real, but I'm still going to bet on the talent and a guy who's in phenomenal form. I like him a lot, top 20 at plus 250. And again, I'll sprinkle a little on the outright.
Okay. Into Jeff Seeley, our guest, Talking Golf, Cutmaker Podcast. Follow him on X as well. He's on the Progressive Guest Line. How about another guy in the 35 to 40 to 1 range?
Yeah, Paul. So Taylor Pendrith has finished 9th and 16th here in his last 2 visits. If you look at the 3 categories, again, driving distance, I mentioned, he ranks 8th in the field in driving distance over his last 100 rounds. Putting, he's gained with the putter in 15 of his last 20 events, and he's a positive putter on POA. And with your long irons, he's ranked in the top third of the field. So since May, he has a win and 3 more top 10s. The form's not bad. He's gained tee to green in 12 of his last 15 and gained with the putter in 11 of his last 15. Solid form, solid course history. Lot to like here to 35 to 1, and I think plus 150 or so. Top 20 is great. And then we got some fun bombs this week, Paul.
Wow. I'll get to that in a second. Speaking of bombs, how'd the 16-year-old kid look to you, Blades?
You know, he looked really. I thought he looked really well. He did himself proud. I mean, he obviously competed through 3 rounds. He didn't end up making the cut on Sunday, but he looked really good. I think he'll be competitive going forward, and I'm excited to see where he transitions to. I think he needs to get a little stronger. He's a little kind of small and skinny right now. He's obviously still got some growing to do, but I think once he spends some time in the gym and gets a little strength and experience, he's going to be a lot of fun to watch. So it's a great story, and I'm looking forward to watching the kid progress.
All right, how about a couple bombs to win? Top 20s, top 10s? Take it away.
So Michael Thorbjornsen, he's 75 to 1 this week. You can find at FanDuel. Again, I talked about the very simple model, and nobody's been better in that than recent form than him. He's a 23-year-old, raised in Cleveland, attended Stanford, won the U.S. Amateur a few years ago in 2018, and just began his pro career. In the last 6 months, he's only played in 8 events, and he has 3 top 10s. He's got talent. Over his last 12 rounds, he's 9th in the field in putting, 9th in long iron play, and 9th in driving distance, and 11th in the field in irons over 200 yards. So still only 23, a guy I think has got a super bright future. Plus 250, top 20, and plus 500, top 10. My favorite ways to play him. And then Jake Knapp. Jake with the elite mullet finished 3rd here last year, and he's 250 to 1 this week. You can find him top 20 at plus 500. I think that's a really interesting bet this year on a guy that really is very much sort of boom bust. His success and failure is linked to his iron play and putting. This time last year, he went on a heater where his irons and putting were both very good, and he had a lot of success. He took 3rd here, 28th at Waste Management, 1 in Mexico, 4th at PGA, and so on. He putted well last week. If he can find some positive putting run this week, I think the course gives him good vibes. 250 to 1 and 5 to 1 top 20. I think that's definitely worth looking at here for Jake Knapp. Super bomb, really interesting play this week.
Any other people to consider?
Yeah, guys. I mean, your local guy there. I look at Taylor Montgomery a little bit this week. I played him top 20 at plus 750, and then Hayden Springer is another guy who's got some good experience and is a good course fit. He's another guy top 20 you can find in that 5 to 1 range.
All right, my friend. Good luck and enjoy Lou Anarumo, and see if the Colts can turn it around. Appreciate your time.
Can't wait. Take care, fellas.
All right,
thanks,
there you
Jeff.
go. Indy Jeff Seeley with the golf. Do it every week, and good luck to him, and maybe we can cash some tickets. College basketball schedule, not that deep tonight, but again, it's every SEC game, or every night it seems there's a big SEC matchup, and Alabama's laying 12 against Vandy, 168.5 the total. Mitch was right about the total Saturday. It flew over, and they beat Kentucky
Even all the
on the
in
road.
every in-game number went over.
Yeah. What was the highest you saw?
I saw 192.5.
Oh, God.
Everything went over.
Yeah.
You just bet it the whole game.
Yeah. Do they bounce back here after their last game? They got beat at home, and they were laying a similar number. Hey, Vandy coming off a nice win, too. Tennessee, 7.5 against Miss State, 139.5 the total. I kind of lean Tennessee in that one. But Miss State having a great year. I'll do bracketology later in the show with all these SEC teams. What's going on with your Drake team? Stubbing their toe now a little bit.
Little bit. Coming back to earth.
Yeah. Yeah, they had a couple losses.
I think Bradley's the best team in
Yeah,
the
they're
Missouri
laying
Valley.
two, yeah, they're laying 2 against Belmont, and that's 153 tonight as well.
You know who's a great ATS team is UIC. UIC is like 15-4 or 14-5 against the spread. Take a look at them, Paul. Look at their record. I think they've covered like 11 in a row. Pretty amazing.
And Kansas finally played an over on Saturday, so that's now 15-2 to the under. Purdue's laying 10 against the Buckeyes with 141.5, and Texas is 2 against Missouri, 148.5. SMU 1.5 and 157 against Louisville, and a couple late games. The Ducks laying 12.5 against Washington, 147.5 the total. BYU 4.5 and 145 at Colorado. The get-out game, UNLV, is 9 and 134 against Wyoming. Back-to-back good wins for the Rebels. And now Joe Lunardi only has 3 teams in from the Mountain West. It's a little hairy now.
Well,
Still got the Aztecs in. The Aztecs got beat again. I don't know. They can't afford any more losses. Utah State's got a great resume.
Utah State wins all these games down at the wire.
I know.
They're very good. They cover these numbers on the road. New Mexico's tough. But that conference looked like maybe a 6-bid league again this year, and it hasn't panned out that way so far.
No. It'd be nuts to see what happens with the SEC if they get like 11, 12, 13 teams in.
They're deep.
Which is definitely
very
in play,
deep.
no doubt. It's excellent. We're getting ready for Big Game 59 with a big deal to match. Save $59 off the VSiN Pro annual subscription when you sign up using promo code FTM. Become a VSiN Pro annual subscriber and bet smarter all year long. Every best bet, every host, every guest, the dog videos and the betting guides. VSiN.com/subscribe, promo code FTM. $59 off the annual subscription. The website, everything up there is nuts. Every time you check it out, there's so much information. Adam Burke on next year's picks for college football. You got Cohen on the NBA today, Makinen, Jonathan Davis with the NHL card. Always gives out a lot of picks. You got Peterson with college hoops. Everything's up there. Nigel with soccer. It's incredible. Everything on the website at vsin.com. Up next, we'll get to hockey. And again, we mentioned the picks from Jonathan Davis. These runs are insane with goal in the first 10. There's an all-time matchup at 4 o'clock between two teams on incredible streaks. We'll run down the card, gets Mike's thoughts on some futures, and why a game is juiced minus 220 for goal in the first 10. Hardcore hockey with some great numbers. Make you some money coming up next on Follow the Money.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
All right, here we go, baby. We're back. CEO of Circa, Derek Stevens, as usual time every Tuesday. Recap what happened, tell you everything going on at Circa and the 3 properties. CircaLasVegas.com. Come on down. You got to be here for Championship Sunday. Also, the Super Bowl. Get your cabanas, get your room. CircaLasVegas.com. Golden Gate, the D or Circa. Don't forget about the Golden Gate. Love it. Just had their birthday. 119 years old. Love the suites. And get the penthouse and go nuts with the grill out there. Bring a big crew in as well. Chief, good to see you. Condolences, though. Rough weekend.
Appreciate that.
I mean, I'm rooting for the Lions so hard. 15-2, and then you saw what transpired on Saturday.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, for Lions fans, everybody kind of went in. They felt pretty confident, and it fell apart. I would say the game plan, though, how's the best way to say it? Game plan was kind of cocky, maybe a little arrogant. Nobody in the backfield on 3rd and 1. Mm-hmm. Jameson Williams, he's hired to catch balls, not throw into triple coverage. You know, there's just goes on and on and on. But it was frustrating. I mean, obviously. Yeah, we were frustrated. We thought this was the year.
No kidding.
You know, your windows close in the NFL quickly.
Yeah. How do you feel now? Johnson goes to Chicago, and the Jets are finalizing the deal with Glenn.
Well, I guess I would say it's amazing. It's amazing. Aaron Glenn, you know, the game plan he put together on the final regular season game against the Vikings was unbelievable. Mm-hmm. And then the game plan.
Was it? Or was it just Darnold?
Or was it Darnold?
Darnold being really, really bad.
Yeah.
And then the game plan against Washington, everybody knew they struggled with the running quarterback, but boy, did they ever struggle. It was something. We can't have that many turnovers either. So
Yep. How'd it go for the House, though? Was that the number one liability?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I guess that's the solace I have here. So the House did okay. I mean, yeah, they pounded away on everything with the Lions. Pounded away with. We had a lot of these parlays and with the big favorites, it was Chiefs, Lions, Ohio State, Eagles in the mix. You blow a couple of favorites, but the Lions was the big favorite. You blow the Ravens because Ravens had a good amount of two-way action, but more on the Ravens.
Yeah, you got to.
But it was a road team.
Yep.
So the big one on the weekend that kind of blew things up was the Commander Lion game.
You mentioned to Paul that you wanted to talk about Netflix and how Netflix was going to change sports as we know it. The floor is yours.
You guys had to come on. I mean, Mike, I had lunch with you in my office today, and Mike had to leave right before the market closed. My lunch goes an extra half hour, and then we're up there watching the end of market close. And, Netflix reported earnings today. Mm-hmm. Holy smokes. I mean, they expected, Wall Street expected Netflix to gain 8.9 million subscribers in the fourth quarter, October through December. And they came in at almost 18 million, like double what was expected. Blew things out for a handful of reasons, but sports is a big one.
Sure.
I mean, 2 Christmas Day games, massive. They use that to parlay that into marketing Squid Games.
Damn right.
And then effectively the most streamed event ever in Tyson Paul. This Tyson Paul fight.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't much of a fight at the end of the day, but boy, everybody in the world wanted to see it. And the number of people that signed up to Netflix is unbelievable. It's so strong that Netflix is raising its prices, like effective immediately. On the low plan where you get all the ads, it goes up $1
Mm-hmm.
for all the others is going up $2. I mean, this is unbelievable. The rights fees that they're paying to the NFL originally, when people said, "Oh my God, it's crazy," that might look like the steal of the century. The value of Netflix from a couple hours ago till right now, the value is up about $40 billion. It's unbelievable. And NFL gets a product that gets shipped, gets seen worldwide. So it's going to change everything the way American football is going to be watched around the world now.
So, yeah, it changes the future of sports, and it's kind of like the gym membership, right? I get charged for it every month, but I forget about it if I'm not using it. But there's so many streaming devices, I have to get it to watch the NFL. And then once I'm there, I sign up for the year. It comes out every month. And I'm watching Squid Game and all the other stuff that they have and everything that they offer. Same thing with Amazon, right? So we got Amazon, we have Netflix, and you think this will continue where it's because the playoff game got a ridiculous number too, Baltimore and Pittsburgh.
I mean, you think about when there were some NBA franchises that traded maybe like 6-8 years ago. People thought those numbers were crazy. Now they're going off at 5 times that.
That's right. Yeah.
So I think what we're seeing here on these rights fees, these streamers got it down. I mean, they're going to be able to put this out all over. I think for sure, when you start thinking about the NFL, this guarantees a massive increase in the international games. I mean, I could definitely see at some point. Now the wheels got to be spinning in New York, thinking about
yes.
Why don't we go to everybody's talking about this 18-game schedule? Let's go. Let's be honest. Let's take the next step here. Let's go to 9 home games, 9 road games, and 1 international. So every team has to play 1 international game. You have a 19-game season. You don't need any of this. You don't need any of this preseason stuff. This preseason stuff's a joke. 10 teams didn't even play their quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
But no owner wants to give up these home games.
Right.
And even the way they're doing it right now, where owners got to flip-flop. So next year is an AFC 9 game, when the NFC is an 8 game. But, at some point, these international games is where it's at. That's where these rights fees are coming from.
He wants to do 18 anyways.
Yeah, he wants to do 18
yes.
for sure.
He wants 19.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just putting it out there.
Goodell wants 18.
He wants people to have to go 23-0 and survive. 19.
Well, couple of
buys, Christmas and Thanksgiving,
and a couple of bye weeks, and a couple of bye weeks, and all that. But we got to get more than 20. I mean, 20 is getting a little bit A little easy, but the way these rights fees are going, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like what Netflix and what Amazon's going to do and everything else like that.
How long you think? I think this is going to happen. How long you think?
Oh,
No more preseason. We're just doing 20 games.
Yeah, I think
That's the way to go.
It's got to happen pretty soon. I don't know about 20, but I mean, I think next step, let's get to 18.
Double
but
bye.
I mean, the amount of money that this is going to go up is just so massive, so massive.
Yeah,
and it's good. I mean, think about now. We start off with week 0 out here, a couple week lead time with college, and then you go all the way into Super Bowl at the end of February. That's the future right there.
Have you looked into advertising rates on Netflix? Is this why you're so bullish on this?
That's a different model. It's a different model. But I mean, what they're charging and the number of subscribers, I mean, up 18 million subscribers. Okay. It's up $20 a month. That's not bad.
They did it the right way.
Yeah.
You put those 2 games on. You got the big halftime show, like Mike mentioned. People have to tune in to watch that. And then you're just pumping Squid Game 2 nonstop, which came out at midnight.
Totally understand now why they spent as much on a halftime show as what you do for the Super Bowl, because this was a worldwide audience.
Yes.
13 minutes of Beyonce, and we had 70 seconds of Travis Scott pre-taped last night for a national championship game.
Oh yeah, you can't compete.
Well, because I think they wanted to show Trump's message. I think they couldn't have been too long. So you're sitting there, regardless of who the House needed, but of course we know they needed Notre Dame. What were your feelings as a Michigan fan watching Ohio State play for the national championship?
Well, I mean, you know,
are you cheering for them because they're a fellow Big Ten school?
I could make a joke, Mike, and say, I'm glad Ohio State won, but you can't be a champ unless you could beat a champ, and they can't beat a champ.
Here we go.
But that's not where I'm going to go with this story. That's not where I'm going to go with this. I was actually rooting, and I would tell you that's why I was very calm and quiet with you. I was actually rooting for Ohio State last night, and here's the reason. I would have been good with either team winning, but I thought it was pretty cool. You got Michigan wins one year, you got Ohio State winning the next year. I thought it was pretty great for the Big Ten. We like Big Ten football. We like Notre Dame football as well. Mm-hmm. That's why I really like this matchup. I thought it was good. Good. It's not just an absolute layup for the SEC every year.
It was great. We're back-to-back years now. When the Square's going to be ready?
Oh, they'll be ready. I think Monday evening. I think they're doing a little bit of prep work based upon how the matchups play out. But Monday evening we'll have Circa Squares up for a good 13 days, ready to go.
And what's going on tonight?
Oh, tonight, big convention in town. You know, called shooting, hunting, outdoor tourism show. And even though it's chilly out, I think we got 1,500 people. They rented out Stadium Swim tonight.
Oh,
big
my
screen,
God.
all that should be a lot of fun.
CircaLasVegas.com. Book your stay now. Use VSiN15. Get 15% off. Thanks to Derek for doing this. It's at Circa, the D, and Golden Gate. Come watch the games. Get your Super Bowl party booked. They were packed and full last night, all weekend. You couldn't walk in here during Super Bowl weekend, wild card weekend. It's the spot to be. CircaLasVegas.com. Book your stay now. VSiN15 to get 15% off. Thank you very much. Good information. Up next, In Pocket, what we're betting coming up on Follow the Money. VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, Sirius XM Channel 158.
To determine the winner of any given college basketball game.
Someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything. You take it. Take it. Take it.
I'll bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way. I'll give you 3-to-1 odds. Nope. 5-to-1. Nope. 10-to-1. You're on.
Winner last night, controversial. Will Howard, MVP, $1.10. I agreed with it. But he was 17-21 and took them right down the field the first 4 drives. So I understand Judkins 3 touchdowns and 100 yards. A lot of people thought he had a shot at 14-1. He did. But that's what you're up against when you're competing against a quarterback that they seem to win every award. Chiefs on the money line against the Bills. Commanders plus 5.5. I'm surprised at the line movement. Eagles back up to 6.5 in some spots as well. Also, I'll get to expand on the 76er thing in a second as well. Goal in the first 10 tonight. It's $1.45 at Circa. It's your big boy. Got to get this one tonight. 11 in a row for the Flyers. 16 of 17 for Detroit, including 12 in a row. They go head-to-head tonight. Goal in the first 10. And Kelsey, over 69.5 receiving yards in the AFC title game. Last 4 AFC championship games. 11 for 116 and a score. He's plus 125 at DK to score. 7 for 78 and 1 touchdown. 10 for 95 and a touchdown. 13 for 118 and 2 touchdowns. They keep him in the garage all regular season, and he unleashes hell in the postseason, much like he did last week, 100 yards, and that paid 7-1. His receptions prop is 6.5. So let's go with that as well. And I'll get to a couple more in a second. Mike Baum, take it away.
Okay, we
Go
talked
get him.
about this on the G-Bank Best Bet. Georgiev in net tonight for San Jose. The Sharks are in Nashville. Look, the Predators have won 3 straight on this homestand, rested since Saturday. It's a back-to-back for the Sharks. They played in Boston yesterday, losing. And Georgiev's been awful. You had the stat, 3-20 and 4 in first periods. This game's at $4 on the money line. I'll lay the puck in a half for minus 140. I can see the argument Predators first period as well. I'll take the 6. You can get 6.5, but this is what I bet yesterday. Commanders plus 6, minus 105 against the Eagles. I think that line is just too high for the team that's clicking offensively like that, and we're not sure of Hurts' health. And then it's very interesting. Back-to-backs in Canada for the Lightning, and they went with Johansson in net last night in Toronto. So you get Vasilevsky tonight against the Canadiens. I went under 6.5, laid the 120 for the game, Paul.
All right. Also like Kincaid over 34.5. Casey's terrible against tight ends. Schultz had 4 for 63 last week. And the other one that I mentioned, I was watching the Brian Windhorst podcast with Tim Bontemps and Tim McMahon. And Tim Bontemps has been following the Sixers around for a couple years, covering them. And he, goes to various places, but he's big covering the Sixers. And they had high expectations in what they did in the offseason. So he's on yesterday, and they are talking about just how bad this is and how ugly this season has been for Philadelphia and what's ahead and concerned about the future. So when I bet $1.40 last week to miss the playoffs. Now, shop around, it's like $2.20 in some spots as well, but I still think it's mispriced because they want to punt on the season. And he had the article last week on ESPN.com that they're going to pivot on what they're going to do based on this tough road trip and this schedule. So they continue to lose games. But the only thing why this isn't over and they haven't decided for sure what to do and punt is because Chicago keeps losing games. The only team they can catch is Chicago. And the Bulls are the 10 seed, and that's what you got to get to at least get in the play-in. And, I mean, why would you even be excited about making the play-in if you're the Sixers and just, but they got to keep their draft pick because their future, McCain's out for the year and what they spent in the offseason, which I'll get to in a second. So Chicago keeps losing games, or this would have been much higher where they are in the standings, up 2.5. But this schedule, which we talked about, which includes several back-to-backs, and Embiid hardly plays anyways, they've lost 6 in a row. No one's making shots. They can't defend. They got run out in Milwaukee. They got run out at Indiana. They got run out. Well, then they survived. They came back, lost in overtime to the Knicks. The Thunder pounded them at home, and they lost to New Orleans at home. At Denver, no Embiid. Embiid has played 13 games this season. And swelling in the knee again. They're not even, putting a reason why he's out. It's just, he can't go with the knee. And he's due like $60 million coming up in the back end of that contract. They just gave Paul George all that money. He's averaging 17 a game. He's struggling with his shot. There's 3.5 years left on that deal. Denver, Cleveland, Chicago, LA, Sacramento, Denver, Boston, Dallas, Miami, Detroit, Milwaukee. These are all playoff teams or teams in the mix. And once this is over, February 7th, assuming the Bulls can actually win a couple games, this thing will be over. And then they'll decide that's it. We're just going to shut Embiid down. what's the point? Let's try to keep our draft pick and get a shot at maybe we could walk into something with a top 5 pick. And the Bulls are no bargain. They got the big win in L.A. last night. They had lost 5 in a row. Also, there's some bad teams. And Atlanta's good, but Atlanta didn't play anybody in that game when they lost. They lost at home to New Orleans. They lost at home to Charlotte. Ridiculous. But they got the big win last night. So still, they should get a couple wins here and really separate because of what's going on here with Philadelphia. So I still think it's mispriced. And for a guy who's covering the team, talking about the dire straits and that what they're in, I think even if you're tying up your money for a couple of months, it's a good bet knowing that this is the direction that the organization wants to go. And unmitigated disaster was thrown around as well, what the future holds. Because the guy just doesn't play. He's played 13 games and came out before the season. I don't play back-to-backs. What's his trade value? Considering he's going to be due $60 million at the back end of that. There's no way you can trade for the guy. It's kind of like the Pelicans missed it with Zion Williamson. Always hurt, out of shape, late for the flight. It's like, you missed it. What are you going to get for the guy? And the Clippers benefited from just telling Paul George to walk. They're going to probably win the division. And they're in first place and doing this without George and even with Kawhi out for much of the season. So thought that was a good podcast as well.
I asked Zach Cohen, Paul, on my show on WLS in Chicago last Saturday night, is there anyone that can really beat OKC in the West? And he gave me a surprising answer. He said, your team, Timberwolves.
Really?
The only team that he thinks.
He didn't say Dallas?
No. He thinks the Timberwolves are the only threat to OKC.
Interesting. I would pick Dallas. But this is unfair, what's going on with OKC. Oh, they're covering all these numbers, and they have their 2 best defenders in, and they have the number 1 defense by a wide margin. Incredible. So, yeah. In the East, it's crazy. I mean, Boston continues to lose games as double-digit favorites.
They have to have some
right.
motivation going into the game, like it's the Warriors,
I know.
They just don't play at all.
I know.
If it's not a challenge to them, forget it. Play against them.
Yeah, and I think during this stretch, is it like 25th in three-point percentage during this bad stretch? Which, if you're going to take 40 to 50 of them a game, you're doomed. So you would think the motivation at some point here, which still now that Knicks to win the division ticket has more life, even though they're struggling. But nice win by the Cavs as well. VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, now live 24/7. Sirius XM Channel 158, whether you're at home, on the road, or on the go. More ways than ever to tune into VSiN. Stream us live, VSiN.com, VSiN Watch App, YouTube TV, iHeartRadio, Fire TV, Roku, and now Sirius XM. I can't believe the amount of business you guys are doing. Number one, handle and how the book is sold out and packed for all these playoff games, college and pro.
This was the first national championship football game that really moved the needle for us.
Wow.
That we were able to sell. Even the overhang was sold out. They brought the girls that served the sports book and served the underhang and overhang because there were so many pods that were sold and tables on the overhang that was sold. There were no seats. If I would have wanted to sit in the book, there wasn't a spot, not a recliner, not a booth or anything. We had pod one for our crew. I really thought I was going to have to go down to Bar Canada last night, but I had to stay here. And then Saturday was not so. I was over at Bar Canada early. I mean, 10 a.m. it was already full. And that was a lot of Lions fans just waiting for the night game.
Yeah.
Right? And then you had your Chiefs fans and all that. So it's terrific. The NFL is the king.
How did it
drives
compare?
Everything.
How did it compare to Super Wildcard Weekend?
So Super Wildcard Weekend still was number one. The Saturday of Super Wildcard Weekend was the number one right date in 3 of our 5 states. Not here, but in 3 of the 5 states, it was the most right ever. And so you had those 5 days, and of course the two semifinal games were great too in the college football playoff, and it was packed on Thursday night. We were packed on Thursday night for the Notre Dame Penn State game, and then of course we had Texas Ohio State leading up to the check ceremony for the contest. So it was a tremendous 5 days, and then we got a great 3 days here this past weekend. Now we got no more Saturdays, no more Mondays. We're just stuck with a Sunday, and a Sunday.
I know that's unfortunate, no doubt. Did the check ceremony? Did the characters live up to the hype?
It was great. There was a lot of great. The meatballs were great.
Vodka?
There was a vodka, and there's 17 people on Vodka Johnny.
Yep.
How about the second place finishers in the Circle Millions? Was an interesting group of Vietnamese guys from the San Diego area that were lifelong friends. One winner were 2 guys that went to Harvard together. One winner is a neurobiologist. I mean, we say it's a common man's contest. Maybe not so much.
Yeah, right. Excellent job, Mike.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks. Good to see you. Stay tuned. VSiN Primetime. Tim Murray and Matt Youmans coming up. Adam Burke, Jeff Sherman, Mike Pritchard, Bruce Marshall. Stick around, cashing out Joe Serralo, 11 p.m. Eastern. And wake up, VSiN by the books with Dave Ross and Ryan Leaf at 7 a.m. Back tomorrow, Sal Pal and Rich Gannon.
Get well, Mitch.